Happy Friday, Denver, and here on Mile High Life, we know that a scrub is a guy hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride trying to holler at you. That is not going to be us here tonight, because my name is John Ekstrom. I am your MC for tonight, and I've got the Fricashinas coming across the screen right now, because that's who you heard. They have a show coming up, album release party, April 15th. We're going to keep pimping that because we love that band so much. You know who else I love? Two guys who are not scrubs, running the ones and twos tonight, Arthur Raw.
Mixmaster Raw up in the house, baby.
And we've got Kevin Batstone.
Good to see you, Denver. We made it through another week. Let's go for the weekend.
Here we go. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Download the audio. Our guy, Nate Lundy, is like, hey, can you get them to download the fucking audio? Yeah, okay, we can. Let's try that. Let's see what happens if you do that. Because we've got great video content here. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Please share, please like, please review, please do all those wonderful things. But you know what? Do that on audio too. Because we're on all the major podcatchers, whether you're on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, whatever it is, this is how you can do it. Just go there, hit that button. It would make us all very, very happy. Here we are in Colorado celebrating anniversaries. We got a ton of them. First one, Eisenhower Tunnel. Kev, take us there.
Man, what a cool tunnel. It just turned 50 years old on Wednesday, guys. I know we've all been through there a time or two. Right there at the top of the Continental Divide. Look, 50 years ago, this thing was built, right? It stood 11,112 feet, which made it the tallest at the time, of course. I mean, there's been higher roads and tunnels that have been built since then. But there's just some sort of history about the Eisenhower Tunnel when you drive through it. You know, it's so long. Sometimes the traffic sucks. I mean, there's been times where I'm coming up, from the east side, and then I hit the tunnel, and on the west side, it's a blizzard.
Oh, that's weird, isn't it?
It's super weird.
Yeah,
So
that's
fun though, because it's almost like you went into the closet of a lion, a witch, and a wardrobe.
I was gonna say it's like hitting the delivery entrance to fucking Narnia.
Yes,
right. Where all of us,
that's the same thing.
Yes, thank you.
That's exactly what I just fucking said. John.
Yeah, but like for real, when like you go through this magic portal where you go, how can it be this different? But you're in that tunnel for what, like 2.5 minutes
and
at least.
It is the Continental Divide right?
It's the peak of it for sure.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
The people that built this and the amount of effort they had to go through it, blasting through the mountains, and I don't know if you've ever been like in a shitty car or maybe like a truck pulling a trailer, but going up that climb to get to the top there, coming through. I mean, you see people with their fours on. It's chaos, and then coming down into Silverthorne there and everything, people are hauling ass.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty wild, but it's a cool, really cool tunnel. I always like going up there and. A lot of folks have this like weird thing where they try to hold their breath in tunnels.
Yeah.
I can't say I've ever done that, guys. I don't know if that's your thing.
We do it for fun. That's one where, dude, what am I, fucking Aquaman? Like, it's not going to happen through that tunnel. I don't have that kind of lung capacity.
No.
But when you go through, like, say, the twin tunnels that are just outside Idaho Springs.
Yes.
Maybe that one, and we'll do that with our kids because it's fun.
That's a short one.
Like, hold your breath through the tunnels, and they're like, and like it's very dramatic, so it's like a fun, like mom and dad are, and then you get out and they're like, whoa, okay, wow. So like that's super fun. Eisenhower Tunnel, dude, way too fucking
I've tried it, never as a driver,
Good.
but as a passenger, I failed.
Sure.
But I think one of the sketchiest things is when you come out of the other end, going either way, right? East or west. You come out of the other end, and it was nice weather on the other side, and then you come out into a blizzard on the other side, and you're going down the hill.
Oh, it's gnarly.
I don't like that scenario. But as we were doing all this research, I didn't want to throw two articles in here, but I did find one that was similar about Eisenhower, and they talk about how it's like a little mini city up there. Like they have like they have like a control center for Eisenhower. And it's like a little like convenience store and all this other stuff up there. So it's a huge, big operation. And
you'd have to though.
Yeah.
Like with a tunnel that length, you got to have some infrastructure. It's like how the Pentagon has a subway. Mm-hmm. Like can you imagine being a subway worker where you're at fucking and I mean Subway sandwiches by the way. So, but like, can you imagine work like, oh yeah, no, I work at Subway, but I have to go through the fucking Pentagon.
Yeah.
So, like, you work at the mini mart, but it's like, oh yeah, under a mountain inside it.
Yeah, it's a massive operation. And look, it's I-70, right? It's one of the biggest, roadways in America. So when that thing gets shut down and the truckers have to pull over or chain up, whatever they have to do, then they got to go up Loveland Pass, which is, I don't know, that's a bit of a shit show. I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with that.
Well, yes. I've done that many, many times. Loveland Pass is brutal. to go up. It's pretty harrowing, especially if it's snowing. But one thing, when you pitch this, you have no idea how much I love Dwight Eisenhower because he was the president that is largely responsible for the interstate highway system here in the U.S.
Okay.
And I fucking...
Did you pick him as your favorite president?
On President's Day?
No. We were doing obscure presidents.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
That's
so
true.
Eisenhower
That's
is
true.
fairly well known.
That's true.
Came right after Roosevelt. Post World War II, that kind of shit is really on the nose. But the interstate highway system is a fucking miracle, and I love it so much.
Oh, that's great.
So
Yeah, it's great. And that tunnel, it's epic. 50 years old. Good stuff, guys.
okay, what other anniversary do we have here? We got a body found in 1970.
Yeah.
That apparently there's news about, Kev.
Yeah, it was interesting. Right as I was finding this Eisenhower deal, I'm like, well, it looks like we have another thing that we're looking at here. So a body was found in Independence Pass over 53 years ago, back in 1970, and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation really didn't start messing with any sort of genetic identification or anything like that. I mean, obviously the technology has come so far, but here we are, 53 years later, right? And they have now identified the man as Gardner Paul Smith. He was out of Modesto, California. My guess is he was probably doing a little bit of snowboarding, hanging out with his buddies, whatever, back in the 70s.
So how old was this guy approximately when he died?
I think he was a younger guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure maybe some of the genetic, DNA was able to, they were able to kind of unveil some of the things that the forensic genetic, testing was able to lead to. I mean, the fact that they were able to identify him almost 53 years later is pretty amazing. But the thing is, it wasn't really submitted to that level of testing until just last year.
Yeah, 2022.
Wow. Where the hell did you even find this?
It was, I think it was on Fox News. I found that.
So
Fox
like
31.
local Fox News.
Yeah, Fox 31 KDVR.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got anniversaries at go-go here, just like right at the top of this show. In 1876 was the invention of the fucking telephone, Alexander Graham Bell. 1876.
That's
conducted
big time.
A successful experiment with the telephone. So
The telly.
an ebullient Bell wrote his father of his great success. Do that Borat style, right? Great success.
Great.
And speculated that the day is coming when the telegraph wires will be laid onto houses just like water and gas, and friends converse with each other without leaving the home.
Yes.
My God, he had no idea how right he was about that.
He was correct.
Which,
This
I mean,
time.
like, what a brilliant, like, clairvoyant into the future here.
Yeah.
Where it's like, as soon as this shit, like, the infrastructure gets laid, everyone's going to connect with each other in a much more interesting way. And now, here's the fucking weird part about it. No one has landlines anymore. Do you guys?
I do not have a landline. Nope.
No? Kev doesn't? Art?
I mean, it's not plugged in, but it's wired in the building.
Okay. But, like, do you pay for one?
You don't utilize one.
No, but honestly, I would like to get back to a flip phone kind of thing.
Still not a landline.
We all would.
Yeah.
But that's still not a landline. So
No.
here's the thing with the invention of
not.
the phone. Like, we've taken this technology where you can connect with anyone in their homes at any given time. But now we have everything on us where we connect where we're outside the home. This feels like a Jerry Seinfeld bit that's terrible. But the
Makes sense.
But the point is, this invention has paved the way for pretty much every technological innovation that we have ever had since. Like, I would mark this as one of the most important ones that we've ever had.
Oh, hands down. As far as communication goes, you bet. I mean, and it was on this day, which is a pretty cool factoid. And
That is
I don't know if
very
you
cool.
guys have
March
ever been.
10th.
Yeah, March 10th, 1876, was it, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little ways ago. And I don't know if you guys have ever had a chance to visit Lincoln, Nebraska, the Telephone Museum. Probably one of the most boring museums you can go to. But the fact remains, you can go up there and see some of these old telegraphs, as the Brits still refer to it today.
Oh, wow. Though I mean that sounds like a hoot or a larf.
I mean, if you might,
larf.
yeah,
A larf.
you could make
Like a
it fun.
laugh?
No, like a larf.
Oh, I thought larf was just like instead of saying cheese, you say ches.
Or like
So a laugh is a larf.
or like the way Midwestern people will say, I need to do a warsh.
warsh.
No, it's not like that. No, a
Warsh the
larf is
clothes.
a larf is just it's like a gas.
You're always getting
It's
at the
like
Midwesterners, John. They got to they got to ease the heartburn so they can go wash the car.
Yeah. So and go have a pop. We don't drink soda here. We drink pop.
Get out the dooryard before I kick you out the backyard.
What the hell was that one?
I don't know.
Look,
that was a combination of things.
Hey, because things happen over
Dude,
here in this seat.
that sounded like British shit, where like Dizzy Rascal's like, "Oh, fix up, look sharp." Do you remember that song?
Absolutely not.
That song's amazing.
And I'm really not too sure what I was trying to embody there. It was literally
it was a real mix.
Jibber jabber.
Yeah, no, it was terrific. All right, let's move on. So let's go from the phone to modern ways in which people connect with each other. Let's talk about TikTok. Art, what do you got?
So Colorado is joining the nationwide fight and looking into the downfalls of TikTok and how it's hurting our youth and younger people, right? And I didn't really read too deep into this article because ultimately it just led my thought to thinking, my brain to thinking, and my thoughts do think. And so what I'm thinking about now is how horrible social media is. And it really does take up a lot of time. Like, even though we can use it for business, and that's primarily what I do, is to promote podcasts and different networks, and I'm on it all the time for that.
No, we're all on it because we have to be.
Yeah, but it's still highly addictive, right? Like,
Sure is.
Even when I'm not on it doing that, like, I'll still want to, oh, well, who's doing what? Like, can I like something? Did I get any likes?
Well, yeah, no, eventually you're just like, okay, well, I'm here, so let's fucking do this, and then you go, wait, where did an hour go? Where did 90 minutes go?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's easy to get sucked into that nonsense for sure. I don't have a TikTok account. I've seen some of the TikToks that go viral, of course, that everyone then reposts to the other reels and the other social medias, but you always see the little TikTok down in the bottom corner. But, I think the point and the fact remains, Art, is all these social medias, I think, have an impact on the youth. Yeah. TikTok specifically, I mean, I feel like those guys maybe do stand out just because.
Sorry if I'm cutting you off.
No, you're good.
It's the whole short content type of video, 30 seconds to a minute. It is really decreasing the attention spans of our young adults in this country. And if you think about it, it's watching minute-long stuff, too, myself, has decreased my attention span. Like, that's a 10-minute video. That might be too long to watch. It's only 10 minutes long. Yeah. And so when we do like this 45-minute show and then discussion combustion an hour and John of all trades, how you do it over there, like, do people have the attention spans to actually sit down and just watch or even engage in a real conversation in real life without looking at your screen?
It's an interesting point because I actually brought this up with my wife today. So not Gen Z, okay, but the generation that my daughter is in. She's 8, okay? At her school, they have a bunch of clubs, and it's like gardening club and like sewing club and like all this analog shit that like your grandparents were into.
I think that's great.
And so, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think our generation was the first one to grow up sort of. I had an analog childhood, right? I was still like riding my bike. All we had were landlines. There were no cell phones.
Yeah.
None of that came up until I was like late in high school. So it was still largely sort of analog. It might be this generation of parents that's like, here's what you miss out on if you get digital too early.
Yes.
And so, like, all this analog shit, gardening and sewing and dancing and, like, all this weirdo fucking, like, analog interest.
But is it that weirdo? Because this is stuff
that actually
used to be staples in this country.
And it has actual utility, right? I hope one of my kids is into, like, auto repair,
That would be badass.
That would be epic.
So I think this shit, this is me being optimistic, that this shit is going to wear out its welcome to the point where it's like, yeah, we don't need this quite as much. Because I agree with you where the conveyor belt is just speeded up so fast now, where you have like 10-second videos or 20-second videos, and you can consume so much of that, and you've forgotten all of it by the time 3 videos ago have passed.
Yeah, I think you touched on some good points there. We had a guest on last night that's developing a kind of a local TikTok alternative, if you will, that brings people together and gets people out in small businesses and things of that nature. Really like the idea of it. But the thing is, and one of the points that he made is, this is a business that's constantly evolving. I mean, we look at where Facebook was when it first came out versus where it is now. People's, a lot of folks have gotten off it. They're going to other things. They want to be a part of where the market is trending. So I would tend to agree with you. I think some of this shit is going to start to fade out and other things are going to come in. But to the point you made, Art, about, the short-term, attention span, here we are as podcasters that have hour-long episodes. It's like that younger generation, they're not going to be hanging around for it. They might kind of buzz through it.
There's some gems out there though.
There probably is.
There's a couple.
There might be. There's nostalgia for everything now, including like cassette tapes, which cassette tapes are like the worst way of consuming media that like have ever existed.
Well, I mean, look, if you can fix it when it's broken with the pencil, okay?
That's not
Like, come on, man.
No, I'll give you that.
See, that's I mean, that's dating all of us. That's old school. If you haven't turned a pencil in a cassette, what have you really been doing?
All right, let's go to something we can all relate to, which is air travel. Everyone bitches about air travel. I fucking love it. I think air travel is like the best thing
I get claustrophobic.
that's ever existed.
We have so much fun. Like you said, John, on the show a few weeks ago, you're sitting in a fucking chair in the sky.
It is pretty cool.
Which
It's
I stole
epic.
from Louis C.K.
Yeah.
But and no place does beer taste better than at the airport. Okay? So why people get all wound up and fucked up on flights, I will never ever understand, and get all aggro. So there's a story from USA Today. It's all over the place.
Like
It's national-
agriculture?
Yes, agriculture. Art.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure
Yes, agriculture.
since you're the linguist out of all of us.
Agro as in short for aggressive.
Oh, wow. Okay. I would have never
Yeah.
guessed that one.
Yeah. So a man tried to stab a United Airlines flight attendant, opened the plane's emergency door during the flight, and was tackled by the flight attendants and some passengers.
Jeez.
And like I've seen stories about this. And by the way, I used to travel shitloads. So like for corporate, I was on probably 30 to 40 flights a year.
That's a
So
lot.
yeah, it was plenty. I had premier status, all that. I've never seen anything like this. But you see stories about this frequently, and I would say I think it's a minority. Like it's an extreme
never
minority,
seen it
but
happen.
you always hear about it, right? And here's what I can tell you: if that happened on my flight, I'm gonna be one of the people tackling that motherfucker to the ground. I don't know about you guys, but that's not gonna happen on my watch, because like the people who are flight attendants, the people who work this job, are like heroes, because it's a very thankless job. It's very hard. You work weird hours. You don't get paid that much, and the way that people lash out at flight attendants pisses me off.
Entitlement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. We had a flight attendant on Discussion Combustion a few weeks ago, and she alluded to some of that. And one of the questions I had for her was very similar to this: how many freak out accidents have you seen in her, tenured years? And wasn't that many.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it is a rare occurrence. I think we're seeing it more a little bit now since pandemic. People are getting fired up, all that kind of stuff. I've known some folks that have been 86 off flights from being too drunk or whatever. I don't think I've ever personally seen someone freak out. I've definitely seen someone cop an attitude with the flight attendant, but not to the point where it yielded any sort of physical
Like
reaction.
any altercation or
Right.
anything. And by the way, the flight that I was on, I was working an oil and gas client. This flight was filled with corn-fed oil and gas guys.
great.
No one's going to pull any shit on this
Yeah.
flight, because these are some tough-ass, early in the morning motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like literally, it ain't going to happen on the flight from Salt Lake to Denver on this particular flight.
Sure. But there's always that one asshole, on the flight. There always is that one. You can just tell,
Yeah.
this guy might start some shit.
It's just one person. Look, here's some no-goes when you are flying at 3,000 feet. Is it 3,000? Or is
Like
it 30?
30,000.
30,000. Let's add
3,000 feet is less than a mile.
Yeah,
man.
let's add another zero on that. Yeah, 5,280. Come on, man. No, but all right. So for the ladies out there, this one's for you. If you express to let your hair up and over the seat behind you, that is a fail. For all the men and women out there, if you decide to take off your socks and shoes and then place your foot on the armrest in the seat in front of you, that is a fail. If you decide to watch a movie without headphones, extremely loud, that is a fail. Come on, let's have some etiquette, and there's so many more. We could probably go down a long list.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just like, look, I don't like traveling. It's not relaxing for me. I get
it.
claustrophobic on
I love it
planes.
too.
I try to forget about time when I'm on plane because I don't want to know how long I have to sit there for.
I love drinking a beer in the air.
Yeah.
I do too.
It's so much fun.
I have no problems with air travel.
Yeah.
I love it. And I smell jet fuel. I can just go right to sleep.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Nothing like the smell of jet fuel in the morning.
I mean, aviation is cool. It does fascinate me. It's look, I've never done first class. I bet you that'd be so bossy. I'd probably
Yeah.
I'd probably love that.
I've
I'd
flown it
probably
a few
love that.
times.
I have too.
It's nice to have some space.
It's exceptional.
I
All
got to
right.
do that.
Kev, so from planes to cars, let's go to NASCAR.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of jet fuel, we used to use that term a lot in NASCAR because they used to use the jet drivers to drive the track, and you would smell that jet fuel, and it was like, whew, it's time
Wow.
to go racing. So, speaking of racing, NASCAR's most popular driver and former champion Chase Elliott was out here in Colorado last weekend doing some snowboarding before the Las Vegas race. He had a terrible accident, absolutely destroyed his left tibia, and had to go into immediate surgery
Yeah.
for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's going to be out for a long time, and this is a big hit for NASCAR because he sells tickets. He
Yeah.
puts race fans in the stands. Art, you were with me in Phoenix last year. We saw a lot of
So
Chase
much
Elliott
fun.
fans. They love Chase.
Wow.
And so, it sucks. It's a terrible injury, but Kyle Busch broke his leg back in 2015 and came back and won the championship. So we're feeling for Chase. He's going to be out for about 6 weeks. We got Josh Berry filling in on the ovals, and then a sports car veteran, Jordan Taylor, is going to be running the road courses.
I don't know who any of those people are, but my God, like that sounds like a terrible, terrible injury. And man, my heart goes out to him. That's awful.
Yeah, and that's why they tell a lot of these guys you shouldn't be screwing around, during the season. But even in the off season, if this were to happen, he still wouldn't be ready for the regular season.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's tough. It's tough. And look, here's one thing that I've learned over time is that for anyone who underrates NASCAR and the capability of these drivers, you go drive in the middle of the summer with your windows barely cracked for like 4 hours, no AC, as fast as you fucking can. Like, you're going to be exhausted.
Yeah, see how stressful that is.
Yeah, it's not easy. So it's a sport. These guys are athletes. They're all athletes out there.
100%. So we wish you a speedy recovery, Chase.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so beast mode. Hopefully he comes back. Let's go to the first Grizzly emerging. Finally, this fucking season is going to end. Art, I think the Bears are telling us something, yes?
Yeah, it's sad because I actually wrote in here that it's a bummer that John's favorite time of the year is about to end. So that is in there because I know how much you love the winter. But
in the words of Scarface, there'll be no tears. What the fuck is the line? Anyway, that song is called No Tears.
Well, what happened is there's no more sleep tears in this bear's eyes that are dried. Look, I try to do sleepy eyes. I'll fail. However, the first grizzly bear has woken up and
it's good we're on a quad shot here with all this reaction.
Yes, because I'm such an idiot. Yeah, Yellowstone. That's the fucking word I was looking for.
You were looking for Yellowstone? What the fuck?
I was thinking about sleepy eyes.
It's in the fucking headline, bro.
Look, I'm not looking smart this week, John.
Oh, right. You're not wearing the glasses with no frames or no lenses in them.
They do have lenses.
I don't believe you.
This thing was estimated to be around 300 to 350 pounds coming out of there. Shit. So it's hungry.
It's a big boy.
It's ready to eat. And this means that also for all the people, residents of Colorado, all the black bears are starting to come out of hibernation in this state as well. So I did see a video recently online where a black bear, it was a smaller one, but it like went to go after a guy. He had his 2 kids and like a dog and his wife with him. And it was approaching and he had to like pull his dog away on the leash. And then the bear comes in the frame and he like hit it once in the face. And then the bear finally backed off. He's like yelling, "Bear, bear." So if you ever ran into a bear, how are you? What are you gonna do?
What am I gonna do?
Yeah, how are you gonna handle that situation if all of a sudden you were out in the wilderness and you had a bear? All of a sudden you're encountering a bear. Kev's ready.
Well, I mean, I grew up in the woods, so we had some black bears that would come up and eat bird feeders and stuff. But the black bears weren't that aggressive. Now, if we're talking about going up against a fucking grizzly,
yeah.
I carry a pistol proudly, so I'd probably yank that thing out and send out a few warning shots and just really make some noise. Because I'm not trying to get too close to this animal. There's no way. A grizzly bear will fuck you up,
yes.
Especially this time of year. It's hungry.
There's only one bear that's more dangerous than a grizzly,
and that's a polar.
Correct.
Yeah, and God, in Colorado, we're not encountering polar bears. As far as grizzly bears go, my suspicion is I'm going to use the shit that's in my pants to try and smear it in that bear's face and escape that way.
What?
Right? Like, just reach in like a pure fucking
just like a monkey
chimp.
and just start throwing some shit at it?
Yeah, and just be like, hopefully this deters you.
Hopefully it's solid enough, though. Maybe you didn't drink too much the night
well,
before.
yeah, whatever, dude. I'm going to use whatever I can.
So here's some helpful advice when encountering a grizzly bear. Okay, if it is charging you, you do not run away from it in a straight line. Bears can run faster than human beings, but they cannot turn and like, they can't pivot? They can't 90 degrees quick. So
zigzag.
You need to zigzag as if you were Michael J. out there playing for the first time repping Nike. Okay, and honestly, do that for as long as you can. Try to find some sticks,
and go
yell at it.
Downhill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they're top heavy. That's actually a good
they
one,
can
too.
tumble if you run downhill
Really?
on a steep enough grade. Bear Grylls talked about that a lot in the Man vs. Wild. That's the zigzag and a downhill tip because they start running and then they lose their balance because they are so top heavy.
Well, and his name is Bear.
He's epic.
Yeah, no, I mean that guy is the tits, man. All right, so let's pivot to something more city. We've gone rural. Now let's go city. Safe outdoor spaces have been extended another year. So, courtesy of Denver 7, but reported by CityCast Denver, which is where I found it. I find a lot of great content. If you're not subscribed to their daily newsletter, I love it. It's called Hey Denver. But, so the safe outdoor sites are extended through 2024. 500 people have been served by this, and nearly 170 people have transitioned from that to more permanent housing. So the funding is going to go for another 400 additional people. In the mayor's race right now, here in Denver, you hear homelessness as a hot topic because, and sometimes it gets conflated with crime, and sometimes I think that's unfair, the way that they lump those two issues together. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is, I don't think anyone wants to see homelessness, including the vast majority of homeless people. Sure. So if this helps people transition into more permanent housing and helps people get off the streets and helps everyone enjoy Denver in a way that it should be enjoyed, man, that's terrific. And this program seems to have some success.
Yeah.
If they're extending the funding, I hope it's because it has had some success. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I support it. I do. And I saw a couple of images that were suggested as far as taking it from the tent cities that we've been seeing, some of those colder tarps and things that are laid over, to a little bit more of a wood shed, like what you would see in your backyard. You put a lawnmower in and seeing some of those kind of out, even that is a small improvement to help these guys be able to withstand some of these extreme temperatures.
Yeah.
So I think anytime we can move the needle forward, I think it's a great thing that Denver's doing.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, with the homeless stuff, I really want to see housing is extremely important. That's one of the necessities of life. But I feel like there's a lot of this existing due to mental illness. And so it's how do we fix it long term? Of course, we can provide housing and things of this nature.
Sure.
And I'm okay with some of that coming out of the taxes. That's fine to give back a little bit. But what's the long-term solution, though, to actually help these people get their feet back underneath them and start being productive people in society, So
agreed.
It's tough. It's a tough discussion regardless.
Sure. And this is not the only city dealing with this at all. I mean, some cities have handled it better. The city of Denver went down to Houston, saw what they were doing, and apparently Houston has had more success with this compared to, say, let's point at Los Angeles or San Francisco. Mm-hmm. It kind of depends, and I don't think anyone has a silver bullet for it.
Right.
Which is the hard part. I think if you asked anyone, do we want to help the homeless population in the city in which we live? Everyone would say yes. How do we do that most effectively? And no one has come up with the best.
Brant Tobler would disagree with that one, though. No, it's a joke because he's a comedian and he was making this joke about how can you stop giving homeless people money because then that just gives them money to go buy alcohol and fuel them to fuck up my fence. It was this whole joke. Sorry, it wasn't appropriate.
Yeah, that one landed with a thud just a little bit, and that's okay. It happens. We've all done it. Let's move on. We've got a story about the boss.
Yes, the boss, Bruce Springsteen. And this is just kind of fun news, just a little something simple. So he went into a local Denver business and surprised this lady who was actually the owner. And she didn't quite recognize him at first, but then she all of a sudden realized, oh, my God, it's the boss. And he brought her to the concert. And so I love seeing selfless acts like that. And those kind of articles always stand out at me when scripting the show because it's important to highlight when people do things that they don't have to, and they're doing it for the right reason that makes other people's lives a higher quality. And so I love that people do that, and I had to bring that up. And I mean, what an epic musician as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely put out some good tunes. He's not my favorite musician, but I certainly respect the man. But I think one takeaway is, we bump into a lot of people that are recognizable right out in the market sometimes. And you're like, is that person? Is that not? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're like, are you this person? I mean, It's different for everybody. So in this instance, it's like, oh shit, is that the boss? And sure enough, it was. And kudos to him for taking this individual out to the concert. I think that's a great thing. And I would agree, just those selfless acts go a long way.
My parents were hanging out at the Brown Palace one night. This was probably 20 years ago at this point. But Steven Tyler and Joey Kramer from Aerosmith walked in. And my dad recognized Steven Tyler immediately because, I mean, Steven Tyler is...
He's pretty recognizable.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Springsteen at this point, if you don't recognize Bruce Springsteen, that's on you, right? But Steven Tyler is sort of immediately recognizable, the same way like someone like Mick Jagger or Post Malone might be.
Right.
Right? Where you go, oh, like that guy is right
Yeah.
here. But they said they loved coming to Denver because people tend not to mob them. And like they can hang out and they can like be cool, and it's like, yeah, we'll take some pictures with some fans, but it's not as insane as it is in other cities. Like
Yeah.
Denver's really chill.
It's a laid
So
back
like
city.
this story feels like it's reflective of that kind of thing.
Interesting.
Which I mean, I love this city. We fucking this show is called Happy Friday Denver.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
like to
this
that end,
is my hometown. When you're rolling around, you're on I-25 and you're seeing those buildings in downtown Denver. That's my city. That's my block. I represent this 100%. I know you're born close to me as well. Park Hill
right.
Brothers representing.
dude, I was born
mean,
in Golden though.
Oh, I should have not.
Yeah, but you guys are still
no,
Nate.
I'm,
No,
I'm
I lived
joking.
in Park Hill though.
I'm just I tease, I kid. No, but
Where were you, Elizabeth?
no, Rose.
Rose Hospital?
Rose Medical, yeah.
Oh fuck. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Wait, where'd you grow up? What high school did you go to?
Well, in Parker, because they moved us out because the gang violence was so bad when I was
That's
like 8
what I'm
years
saying. So like that's why I thought like you were Elizabeth or Parker or something.
old. Yeah. Oh no, I'm a Denver boy, true and through.
Okay. No,
And-
I was born at Lutheran out in Wheat Ridge.
Okay.
So like I was West Side suburbs.
Okay, I see. I see. But yes, this is the city, and we are chill as hell out here. And look, I don't meet too many natives. There's so many people that come in here, and thank you for stimulating the economy. But let's keep the vibes right. Let's keep it Colorado. Let's keep it chill.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
I mean, look, you guys are natives. I'm not. We've been over this a time or two. Been out here coming up on 16 years now.
That's a
I mean,
lot of time.
This is my home now. This is the place I call home. I live in Denver. I'm not from Denver, but this is my home. And to piggyback off that, some of the greatest the comedians that I've heard talk about performing in this city, musicians that talk about performing in this city, like Denver is the spot, and I would agree to that. I mean, we have some of the greatest venues. You look
Yeah.
at Red
Oh, yeah,
Rocks,
dude.
number one, first of all.
Yeah, everyone wants to do that.
Yeah.
Red Rocks, Fiddlers. The clubs here are amazing. And so, like, as a punk guy, punk rock bands fucking love playing Denver. And my friend Steven, who lives in Houston, is like, why is Denver such a great punk town? And I go, I honestly can't answer that, like, in a real way. But literally, live music, live sports, it's all super fun here. The vibe is amazing. And coming up this weekend, what we've got is a buffet, literally a buffet of content creators from Denver. Kev, hit them with it.
This is a fun show, guys. We've had this in the works for a long time, and shout out Loco Plus for really bringing this thing together. Denver tomorrow, guys. Tickets might still be available. I don't think they will be. They're saying there's going to be some at the door. We're going to include the link down below to get your tickets so you can get guaranteed access. We're going to do some live podcasting. We're going to have some fun. Fellow Mile High lifer J.D. Lopez is going to be there doing some stand-up comedy. It's just a really cool showcase event showcasing the talent that this city has to offer. We are absolutely throttled to be involved with this. We're going to be kicking the show off, having the three of us down there, hanging out, having some fun. You're going to want to come out for a visit, have a drink, come say hi. Can't wait, guys.
Yeah, come check us out for sure. Kevin and I will be emceeing the entire event. There's like 10 plus amazing creators, mayor candidates, musicians, foodies, comedians, and at X Denver, a very fun, awesome, cool venue, like top level bar. It's going to be a blast. And we will be having John Ekstrom as our guest on Discussion Combustion live in front of an audience. So excited.
That is me, and I cannot wait to do this in front of an audience. One act that was on this that I wanted to highlight, that I've had on John of All Trades, is Tony Zizas. Tony Zizas is one of the funniest motherfuckers I've ever had on my show. He is, he's just one grade below Master Sommelier. And so that dude knows wine, he knows food. He cooked pad thai out of the back of a Jeep Grand Cherokee in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That was the best pad thai that city probably has ever seen.
Wow.
That guy has stories. He's amazing. You're going to love him. This is going to be a great show. So that is our biggest to-do this weekend.
Come check us out, X Denver, 4 to 8 p.m.
Looking forward to it, man. We're going to have some fun.
100%. Okay, so we're going to transition into just Mile High Life stuff. Vic Lombardi's Denver is on Mile High Life. Did that age well? We've got Gen X show. We've got Mile High Cinema. We've got Men About Town, which is a brand new show on Mile High Life. All the pods are there. And I bring up Vic because I'm going to go see the Nuggets on Sunday. I'm bringing my girls. They love that. But Mile High Life is an offshoot of Mile High Sports. Go check them out. Download us on whatever podcast catcher that you are listening on, whether that's iTunes, whether that's Stitcher, whether that's iHeartRadio, whether that's Spotify. Leave us a rating, leave us a review, do all the things to raise the profile of the best shows in Denver. We have the best shows in Denver. Happy Friday Den is on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Happy Friday Denver at gmail.com if you'd like to email us, if you have a segment idea or something going on. We are here for you. This is the show. We ain't about no scrubs. It is time to wrap the show. The Fricashinas are going to take us out. Hit it, Justin.